Okay, right. Let's dive into the session. So, thank you, one and all, and very good morning to join a prestigious and a very good program called AWS Cloud Practitioner program. So, this is now the industry demand program. Many of people will going to learn many new things here today. So, this is offered by the ANSRise. So, this is a skilling company that we are going to start and skill the people all over the country. So today, let me first dive into the agenda. So before that, am I audible to everyone? Please let me know.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Thank you. Now we are going to mute you. So when there is a Q&A, so then you can able to unmute yourself and you can speak. So meanwhile, if you want to say anything, you can use the chat box and my team will help you out in that particular questions. So thank you very much. So today, let me dive into the agenda. What is the agenda we are going to discuss today? So introduction, what is actually the cloud computing is and what is actually our answer is that we are going to cover here. The next one, cloud computing, the history of the cloud computing will also be discussed and how the evolution of the cloud computing has been done. See here, who is going to deliver this content? The industry expert is going to deliver the content. Let us, we will give our introduction at the last. No problem at all. And Amazon Web Services, we are going to discuss and what is importance in that. And AWS certification. See, this is a current market. Now, many industry people and even industry in job, whenever you are going to any job, so AWS certification is mandatory for cloud related jobs. So they are seeing this. So those who are having this kind of certificates, they are treating them as a very valid and valued employees and valued persons in the market. So that's why that we are going to learn today. And what is actually the cloud practitioner that you are going to see. And one more important practical aspect also we are going to cover today, that AWS console overview, how the console will be, how the environment of the AWS look like. So now keeping in mind who is showing all these things, the industry expert who is working on this is a senior DevOps engineer, currently is working in the market. So he has a vast experience in this particular one. He has tackled many complicated problems and projects in the industry. He is going to see and he is going to explain the things. That's why I'm requesting everyone, please use of this session and just identify the things what he is trying to say, and please make a notes. It is very good habit that this you won't get anywhere, because we will not get any appointment of them because they are very busy persons till today, but they have given time for us and they are saying to you what all the basics and elements. So that is the reason you please make a notes of it. That will be very helpful. After that, we will going to discuss what is actually ANSRise and what the programs we are offering, that we are going to discuss. After that, Q&A session we will cover. Now, you just go through the next slide. Yes. So, what is who we are and what is our mission? What is our core value? I can take only 2 minutes of time. What is actually ANSRise? See here, students and other the professionals also there in this meeting. I'm very thankful to the professional, those who want to migrate their career from one department to other department. That professionals also there here today meeting, and some students also there from the reputed universities. And I very congratulate to all of you, and I very thank you that you are going to attend today. So what actually we are, right? See, in the current market, we are lot of things, a lot of institutions we have. Currently, they are offering the different kind of skills. But what is actually we found in the market that there is no such a institute or a skilling agency is there which directly brings the industry knowledge to the particular students. So this is the aim of our actually ANSRise. right? So directly industry knowledge should come to the students. This is what actually our intention. We worked in Hyderabad colleges because I'm a professor working in CSC department. I worked in many academics. I seen many of the students that uh, they are very lag in current situation of the skill set. Because why? Our software industry is dynamically changes, but as our academics and as our curriculum is not dynamically changes to that situation. So that is the reason why what ANSRise is thinking that, so why can't we train the students with the help of the industry experts? Okay, so those are working on a particular tool. So we have to bring them, we have to make a curriculum with them, and then they are going to teach. Then imagine how it will be. They will bring a live problems, they will talk about very important aspects that we are not covered in academics actually, right? So that is the reason this is the main agenda of our and main thing of our ANSRise. And we are targeting urban people and as well as the rural people, and we are offering very cost effective one. So that is actually our things. And one more thing, those who are interested in research and R&D also, so we are guiding them for R&D purpose if they want to do. And those who want packages and good packages in that particular domain, we are offering such a courses, so on. This is actually the mission of the ANSRise. If you come to the mission and vision, main our mission is to everyone should get a employable skills, and everyone should have entrepreneur skills. If they want to go to the entrepreneur skills, they can go for the entrepreneur skills. Soon we are going to launch a lot of programs. We can, you can see in ANSRise that how the coding practices will be in industry, like how in Wipro will ask, how TCS will ask, that we are going to cover in the next coming sessions. And we are also offering various workshops to the institutions. Recently, to our institutions has already confirmed their things, like government colleges. We are giving different kind of skill activity workshops, and as well as seminars, webinars. That is main agenda is to skilling the people. That's the only thing, that industry skilling should be done. That is what actually our main intention of the particular answer. Like, so what is our actually the core values? The core values here we are following that we have to reach to everyone, and we have to acceptable to everyone. Okay, we have to be affordable to everyone. So that is actually our main mission and vision and things. So I don't want to go more into this. So let us dive into our session. Actually, what is it? Later we will talk about what actually Answer is offering, the different kind of programs and what we are. So our motto is everyone should get a good package first, and after that entrepreneur skills. This is the main thing. So now I'm giving this opportunity to Naresh. I'm welcoming him. So he's a currently working professional with vast experience on the cloud computing and DevOps. So Naresh, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Suk. So thanks for the agenda and the introduction. So you set up the stage for this, right? So thanks for that. And with that said, so very warm welcome to everyone who have actually joined here as a student, as a professional, with the enthusiasm to learn cloud computing, right? So with that, let's move on to our topic and deep dive into the cloud computing. And here today, I can make sure you are going to get some clarity or good idea on what exactly the cloud computing and what are the options it is going to give you and how it is going to help your career and what are the certifications available. Everything we are going to discuss in today's call. Okay, and while we are presenting and we are discussing, right, if anyone is getting any questions in their mind, please keep that you, and we will definitely give a chance to you ask your questions in the last. Definitely we are going to cover all of your questions. Okay, so with that, let's start with the cloud computing. So if you see, we are giving the single line definition for cloud computing. Cloud computing is nothing but on demand delivery of IT resources over the internet. What do you mean by it? Okay, let me clarify this sentence. So what do you mean by IT resources? IT resources are nothing but if you see any organizations or any company, right, they will utilize some kind of tools or some kind of hardware devices, right? Let's say computer, let's say laptop or the network routers or switches, whatever it is, all are called as a IT resources. So before cloud, how it is? So when people are not using the cloud computing, right? So every organization should set up their own data center in their own location or in their own offices. So at that time, they need to maintain all of that infrastructure cost or the maintenance upgradation cost, everything they need to maintain on their own. But what happened after the cloud computing introduced? Okay, so after the cloud computing, people are using those resources, connecting them remotely. Okay, so if you get me correctly, those resources are what are the devices I'm talking at, hardware devices. Those are not going to be in the physical location of the client or physical location of the customer. Those are somewhere in the remote location via the internet. Using the internet, we are going to connect to those resources and utilizing those resources for our use cases. Maybe for web development, maybe for education purpose, maybe for the storage purpose, we are going to use those resources. Okay, we will deep dive into what are the services or what are the no resources we can utilize as part of the cloud. So just I want to give you some glimpse on how exactly the cloud computing evolution has happened, when it was started, and how it is revolutionized the industry. Just I want to give some clarity to you. So if you see the below picture, right? So exactly this cloud term has started in the 1950s only by John McThie. He actually started or come up with the idea of sharing the compute resources between the two or more people. But at that time, we all know, as like all the great ideas may be ahead of their time, right? So at that time, there is no such kind of technology advancement, or they are lacking with the funding and all. So this that was an idea, but which is not yet implemented. After that, in the 1960s, by Jason Lecter, they implemented one agency called ARPANET, which is actually worked for the network primary devices sharing. So when I say network primary device sharing, they actually come up with the concept of sharing the resources over the internet, but as not like the cloud computing, they actually what they have done, they built their own group of networks inside their organization. Okay, so it will be capable of serve only single organization. That is, and next in the 1970s, the virtualization era came. This is a very important era in the cloud computing evolution. Okay, so virtualization is nothing but on top of the single machine, we can utilize multiple applications. We can use or we can deploy multiple applications. That is not the virtualization. So in physical, it will look like as a single hardware device to you, but you can convert it into or you can utilize it for the multiple use cases by converting or by using the virtualization concept. Then the exact term cloud computing was defined by Professor Ramnath, who is from the MOE University in the 1990s. He actually defined the cloud computing, and he even expected is the cloud computing is going to be future of the technology. Okay, and then in 1990s, the exact evolution started as the Salesforce has announced their cloud services for the data engineering teams. Okay, Salesforce is the cloud platform which organizations utilize for their data related projects. Okay, not exactly the web applications or nothing. That's only for the data related data snow early when I say data warehouse to some kind of bigger data projects with their right. So for that, Salesforce is announced their own cloud services and they announce it for the public. So this is actually main turning point to the cloud computing. Okay, and then in 2006, the actual game has started when Amazon launched their Amazon Web Services as a cloud computing provider. And here, one story was there why exactly Amazon come up with this service, right? So actually, even before this Amazon Web Services, right? We all know Amazon.com. We all do shopping and everything, right? So Amazon is having their own e-commerce platform, but they are struggling to handle those their e-commerce workload actually. They are also even utilizing some kind of hardware resources, their own data center and all, but they are unable to handle that workload, or they are unable to handle that much of uh, order bulk orders on their e-commerce platform in the peak hours. So with that fluctuation, they come up with the idea, why can't they start the sharing of the resources for their own only? They started actually, not for the public. And after that, they actually got the idea, like they saw the opportunity, they saw the business opportunity with this approach. So they come up with announcing the Amazon web services. They launched Amazon web services in 2000s only, in 2002, before 2006 only, but slowly the funding and everything has started, and in the 2006 they launched two services. One is for storage and one is for computing. Computing is nothing but the servers. Okay, what are the servers we are seeing right in front of us? Laptops or systems. Those are actually called as a computing in the cloud terminology. Okay, and then from there it is started. After Amazon, we can say lot many service providers. We can say Microsoft Azure, we have Google Cloud, we have Oracle, we have Alibaba Cloud. So lot that, so here lot many providers are came up with their own clouds, or cloud providing and everything. So now in the 2020s, this is the exactly era. Every organization, almost, if you took 95% of the organizations are using cloud native platforms for their use cases, for their applications, because cloud computing is providing so many features to them in terms of cost or in terms of maintenance, whatever you take. So now, why we are saying cloud computing is important is, you take any kind of organization, cloud will be there. So that is the era present now. And if you look at the right side diagram, right, the three main categories I have mentioned: client, server, distributed, and cloud. So before cloud, as we mentioned, in the 1950s only started, right? So what are the categories there then? So in 1950 to 2020, now we are calling it as a cloud computing. Even before that also, cloud computing was there, but with the different names. Okay. So the main first categories was client server computing, where the shareable resources or the common resources are deployed as one mainframe server, which was a bigger main. We maybe some people have already heard about mainframe computers and all, right. So that is exactly the server. And client computers are nothing but who are going to connect to that server, utilize those resources. Okay, so one server, one centralized server will be there, and maybe multiple clients, 10 or 5 or 15 clients will be there. They will connect to that centralized server, they will utilize the resources. That was the client server computing. And then distributed computing is nothing but the same kind of client server, but here the common resource, the centralized server number is increased, and they actually sharing the resources via the internet or via the common network inside the single organization. They connected over the common network, and they're sharing the resources. And in the distributed computing, we have so many categories. Again, we have grid computing, we have utility computing, we have time sharing computing. These are all again subtopics, or subcategories of the distributed computing, but the main category is distributed computing. And distributed computing and the client server computing as the cornerstone of the evaluation of the cloud computing, what we are seeing today. And cloud computing, we just discussed, it's on demand delivery of the IT resources. Now wherever you are in the world, there is no matter, right, there is no matter where you are in the world, you can utilize whatever the service you want, whether you want server, whether you want storage service, whether you want database service, whether you want analytics service, whether you want machine learning service, whatever service you want, you can simply connect to that via the internet. You don't need to set up that physically in your organization, in your location. Okay, so with that, I hope this slide is given some idea to you what is cloud computing, when it started and everything. So with this, we are moving to the next slide. Ashok, next slide, please. Yeah. So now we discussed what exactly the cloud computing, and even in that, there are some kind of types, right? Maybe organization to organizations, or the company to company, or the person to person. The use case may be different, right? All the people are going to have the same kind of applications or same kind of use cases. So here we can categorize cloud into two models. One is the deployment model, and one is the service model, which you can see on the right side of the picture. Okay, so let's first talk about the deployment models. Uh, what are the cloud deployment models? So if you can see the names of the deployment models, right? We have public cloud, we have private cloud, we have hybrid cloud, and we have community cloud. Okay, even some people are now calling it as a multi-cloud option is also the multi-cloud features also some organizations are using. Even we will talk about that as well. So first, let's define every type of deployment model. What is public cloud? Okay, so public cloud is nothing but whatever we are using or whatever the organizations are using now, right now. Okay, public cloud is nothing but whatever we discussed, right? The resources over the internet. It is accessible via the internet to everyone, to every each individual. It is accessible. Okay, and it is cost effective and scalable. What do you mean by scalable? Scalable is nothing but, let's say today you required one server, and tomorrow you require two servers, and after tomorrow you require five servers. You don't need to think about it. As it's a public cloud, it is going to be managed by public service provider, right? The cloud provider, they will take care of it. So that's why it is scalable. And if you see the third point, it will be managed by third party provider. Okay, public cloud is going to be handled by cloud providers like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. So they are going to manage the all the services, all the maintenance or the management of that service. You are going to just utilize those services by connecting it via the internet. That's it. And next, if we come to private cloud, actually this we would have put before the public cloud, but that's fine. I will explain you. So private cloud is nothing but the setup of the environment done by the own organization. Okay, they are not going to utilize any public cloud like AWS or Azure. They are going to set up their own cloud inside their organization, because they may require some enhanced security, they may require some enhanced features, they may actually think about some data breach. If we took some kind of finance applications, if we took some kind of banking applications, right? Even still, there is 5 or 2 per 3% of organizations are using private cloud because of some, they require some enhanced security control. Otherwise everyone is on the public cloud only. Okay, so now you got the difference between public and private, I hope. Okay, it's not but simply private cloud is dedicated to the single organization, and it will managed by the own, managed by own. Okay, and public cloud is not but the accessible via the internet to everyone, and it is managed by third party providers or third party vendors. Okay, next, what is hybrid cloud? So as I mentioned just now, still some of the organizations which are involved into the finance or banking applications, they are using private cloud, right? So even in that use case also, they are using private cloud for only for the finance related applications, or where they require the some enhanced security for only for those applications, they are using private cloud. Okay, and for rest of the applications, even the banking also, let's say SBI we have, even SBI is also having some kind of customer faced web applications, right? Some kind of web app, some kind of mobile apps are all there, right? Okay, so some kind of applications, for some kind of applications, they are even using the public cloud also. So in the same organization, some use cases or some applications are running on public cloud, and some security related applications are running on private cloud. This scenario is called as a hybrid cloud. Okay, some organizations based on their use cases even running with the hybrid cloud also. Okay, next we have community cloud. Community cloud is nothing but multiple organizations. Let's say one organization is there, under that organizations, now Amazon only we take. So under Amazon services, we have Amazon.com as an e-com platform, and we have Amazon Web Services as a cloud provider. So like this, some sub organizations in the one organization, we are going to have multiple companies also, right? So in that matter, they will utilize community cloud. They will take the public cloud as a community cloud only, and they will share that resources across all their companies, all the organizations. So that way they can actually improve the collaboration. Okay, and they can also utilize for their specific needs. Okay, so this is about the deployment models. Even you people may heard the term called multi-cloud also. Okay, multi-cloud is nothing but same on-premise cloud, or the even in the public cloud we have so many providers, right? AWS we have, Azure we have, Google Cloud we have, Alibaba we have. So some companies even utilizing the multiple public cloud. Maybe they found for some applications AWS is relevant, and For another some applications, they found Azure is relevant or Azure is flexible or cost saving. So they are using, again, based on their needs, they are using AWS and Azure both. So that's what we'll call as a multi-cloud environment. Okay, so now you can understand how companies are utilizing cloud computing. So there is no limitations, there is no restrictions. You need to use only AWS, you want to use only, or you need to use only Azure, or you need to use only private. Nothing like that. Based on your use cases, based on your scenario, you can choose multiple options. You can use public and private both. You can use AWS and Azure both. You can combine them. You can connect them. You can collaborate like that. Okay, that is about the deployment models. So if you move on to the cloud service models, what are cloud service models? Okay, we are going to purchase or we are going to sign up with one kind of a cloud provider, but based on the requirement. If you see in the cloud service models, we have three options. One is IaaS. The abbreviation is infrastructure as a service. So by the name itself, you can tell that if you go with this subscription model, you are going to get only infrastructure. Okay. Next to that, we have PaaS, PaaS, platform as a service. So here you are going to get infrastructure along with the OS or the runtime, whatever you want with this subscription. And next we have SaaS, which is software as a service. So here you only simply subscribe to the service, okay, and you enjoy the services. You will just utilize the services for your business. You don't need to, you know, take care of any management, take care of any OS upgrades, take care of any application upgrades, take care of any package upgrades. That is what these subscriptions. So if you want the example, right? So for infrastructure as a service, we can take example of server. We are going to just purchase a server from the cloud provider. We are going to install our own OS. We are going to install our own application. We are going to insert our own data into that. Okay. And if you take the PaaS, platform as a service, we are going to purchase the server along with the OS we want. Let's say Linux server, otherwise Windows server. Based on our requirement, we will purchase. And on top of that server or the OS, we are going to install or deploy our own application. And if we take the example of SaaS, what everyone is using emails, right? That is nothing but the SaaS kind of application only. There's nothing you're doing, right? You're just subscribing or you're just registering with that service to use the email. We are not doing anything, right? We are just subscribing or just registering with our credentials and we are just using it. So that is the example of SaaS services. So in the cloud provider, we have so many SaaS services like that. So I hope this slide is clear to everyone, the difference between deployment models and what are the services models and what are the options we have. Okay, with that, we are moving on to the next slide. Yeah. So now everything is fine. We know what is cloud computing, history of cloud computing, and what are the types or services we have in the cloud computing. Then why exactly? Okay, cloud is providing all this and cloud is having all these options. Why exactly cloud? Why should we use it? What are the benefits we are going to get as organization or as a individual? What are the benefits we are going to get? Guys? So if you see this right side definition of the sentence, right? As I already mentioned in the first slide, nowadays every type of organization or every organization, irrespective of their type, their size, and the industry they belongs to, they are utilizing the cloud computing. Okay, for example, to make you more clear, you can see from the second line, right? So we have the types of organizations here, types of industries here. If you take the example of advertising industry or marketing industry or automotive or even agriculture industry, education industry, travel, manufacturing, healthcare, government, whatever the industry, they just I took examples of some industries only, but all of the world, whatever the industry you take, cloud computing will be there. Cloud will be there definitely, because you take any kind of industry, they are going to provide the services to the customers, right? So to communicate with the customers, to serve or to deliver their services to the customers, they need some kind of platform. That platform is nothing but maybe application, web application, maybe mobile application. Okay, maybe it may be some kind of inquiry forms, whatever it is. So they need, again, they need to store that data into somewhere, right? So these kind of requirements, maybe for the application, for storing the data, for communicating with the customers, for having some kind of chat the customers, for everything they require some kind of resources, storage resources, or the server resources, or the database resources. Those all resources have been provided by the cloud computer. sorry, cloud computing provider. So that's the reason why every organization or every industry is utilizing the cloud computing today. And why even they are utilizing? Why they can't maintain on their own? Because they are going to these main benefits if they go with the cloud computing. Those benefits include agility, elasticity, cost efficiency, and global accessibility. What do you mean by these benefits? Okay, so these benefits are all together helping the organizations to stand in front of or stand ahead of the competitors. In this competition world, even the businesses are also facing so much competition in terms of advanced technology. To support or to sustain with the competition, definitely they need some kind of advanced level or scalable features kind of services or servers infrastructure. So for that, cloud is going to help them. Okay, if you see the term elasticity, so if you remember in the previous slide I talked about scalability, right? The same kind, I mean the meaning is same but the term is different. Okay, these are all actually terminologies related to the cloud computing. So when we are deep dive into the course, right, we will learn all these terminologies. Even these terminologies are very important in the cloud practitioner exam also. So please listen carefully. So elasticity is nothing but the scalability. So scalability is nothing but, as I already told you, right? Let's say we have example of Amazon.com, which is an e-commerce platform. We all use Amazon, Flipkart, right, for our shopping purposes. So Amazon.com, if you see in the normal days, maybe the requests are in the normal way or in a stable way. But when they are going to put some offers in the festival times or in the some occasional times, so at that time the workload or the traffic to their platform is going to be very huge, right? So let's say the Amazon.com platform now deployed or maintaining their application using 10 servers. Okay, so that is very sufficient or enough to traffic handle the traffic in the normal days. And suddenly after 1 week they are going to announce a big offer. And even we can expect how we do the shopping in the offer periods. We all know that. So in that period, definitely the traffic is going to be increased by 10x. You can imagine. So means even the infrastructure also they need to increase by 10x, right? 10 servers to be increased to 100 servers. So they can't sit manually and they can't add servers, right, in place. So here, if you use the cloud computing, it will take care of that headache. You will mention the cloud computing provider while taking the subscription itself or while creating that resource. There is an option called auto scaling and everything else there. We will deep dive into that later. So using that services, using that options, what you will mention, yes, these are my desired number of servers. When I say desired numbers, maybe as Amazon I said, right? So 10 number of servers they require, so they will mention as desired number or desired count of servers is 10 in the normal days. And if the load increases, it can go up to 100. So you will mention that maximum number of the servers also. So in between the desired and maximum, you given that values to the cloud provider, right? So cloud provider will take care of it based on the load, based on the traffic to your platform, to your application, to your website. Cloud computer will increase and decrease the services. That is what the scaling or that is what the elasticity is. Okay. So see how simple it is actually. So even you need to think, you need to worry about if what if the traffic is increased, your site is going to be down. So there is no scenario of site down or no downtime. It will continuously runs. Even the cost efficiency. So cost efficiency is nothing but, see, as we mentioned before, the cloud, we need to maintain our own data centers, right? So to maintain data centers is not the simple thing. We need first we need a space. For that we need the rent, we need to pay the rent. And then to maintain the servers, if you see some small server rooms, even nowadays in the organizations, they need to put air condition, everything. They need to put some two or more people to maintain that as a shift wise. And they need to maintain the cooling systems, and they need to upgrade the servers, they need to upgrade the softwares to that hardware resources. So every kind of maintenance now gone, right? So you're only focusing on your applications, you're only focusing on your business. So even if say so, but purchasing on your own and maintaining at your own will be the cost, will be the cost to you, right? So when you are renting from someone, definitely it will lower that cost. So in exact, if you ask me, if you go with the cloud computing, AWS is promising that you are going to save almost 70% of the cost. if you migrate to the cloud computing. So that is how the cost efficiency is offering to the organizations by the cloud providers. Okay, and then the global accessibility. Let's say now, if you are using your own data center in your organization, you are sitting in one place, right? And you may have the option to deploy your applications to only one location. What if something happens to that location? Maybe power down, power shutdown happen, earthquake happen, something happens, your data lost, right? So when we go with the cloud company is going to have multiple regions or multiple data centers which are connected internally, which are linked together. So you can deploy your applications in the multiple regions or multiple locations. So with that, you are going to get the global accessibility benefit as well. Okay, and even we will talk more about these benefits and everything in the upcoming slides also. Okay, and just one sentence or one comment from the Gartner. Maybe I hope you all know about the Gartner. The Gartner is actually a business, or no, it's a research vendor which will do this kind of which will publish the reports by analyzing or putting some standards to the different kind of service providers. In terms of, if you take the cloud provider, right? So they will put some kind of standard capabilities, and they will analyze those capabilities with along to all the cloud vendors, and they will come up or they will publish the reports. So that Gartner, what they are saying cloud will be the centerpiece of new digital experiences. This can be seeing as a simple sentence, single line sentence, but you observe here new digital experiences are going to be use cloud as a centerpiece. Okay, so whatever the new digital tools or services or applications we are going to get, everything is going to be in the cloud platform only. So the future is cloud here. Okay, so with that, we are moving on to the next slide, and someone is actually raising their hand. So I request everyone to keep your questions to, and you can put that questions into the chat. So to make the smoother session, right? So we will going to take all your questions in the last. If not possible, also we're definitely going to answer your questions after the session also. No worries. You definitely all your queries will be answered. Okay. Thanks for that. Let's move on to the next slide, please, Shok. Yeah. So till now, we got some idea what is cloud computing, when it is started, and how is the evaluation of the cloud, and what are the benefits and why it is important. Everything is done right now. Who are exactly offer us that services? Who are the people in the industry are going to offer those services or cloud services to us? We have so many in the industry, but if you took the top three, we have Amazon Web Services called as AWS, and we have Microsoft Azure, we have Google Cloud Platform. These three are the top three cloud service providers in the industry right now. Okay, so we will deep dive into Amazon as we are going to work, or we are going to have a sessions on the AWS side. So we're going to deep dive into the AWS, but to give some glimpse actually, so what exactly the market share these cloud providers are having. So you can see on the right side the picture, above picture is saying that only these three cloud providers are accounted for 63%. It means more than 50% of the market share is with these three cloud providers only, and rest everything fall under that remaining 50%. Okay, and if you see the below picture, you can see AWS alone is on the top, which is acquiring almost 33% or 32% of the market share. And you can see in the below, it is from quarter 4 2017 to quarter 4 2022. It means continuously AWS is on the top. You can see that it is actually maintaining that standard, right? That's why we are talking about the AWS today. Okay, yes, we have the other cloud service providers always, Microsoft Azure we have, Google Cloud we have, but if we see the results, if we see the reports, or if we see the opportunities, Amazon will be on the top always. Okay, and along with that, Microsoft Azure is on the second, and Google is on the third with 11% of share, and Microsoft is with 22% of the share, and remaining all Alibaba, IBM, Oracle, whatever we have, they are falling for, under the 5% share. Okay, yeah, that's it with the over the cloud service providers, just the overview. Yeah, please move on to the next slide, Ashok. Now, so we talk about the cloud computing and what are the benefits to the organizations and who are the providers. Now, as a student or as an individual, as a professional, what are the opportunities and what are the benefits to me if I learn cloud computing or AWS, whatever it is. So if you see the comment or the news per cutting from the Economics Times on Feb 22, 2024, they are saying demand for cloud skills on the rise as leaders look to fight off rising competition. This sentence even I mean, I did detailedly discussed in the last slide as well, the last second slide, I think. So if you clearly observe this sentence, right, leaders themselves fighting in this rising competition because every organization is utilizing the advanced technology of cloud computing with integration with even AI also. Okay, so in this competition to sustain, okay, to give the competition back to the opposite organizations, definitely they need the right skills professional guy, right? So what are the right skills then? Here, as I you every role or first every organization and after that every industry and even that industry, every role, every employee or every role will need the cloud skills based on their use cases. Maybe if you are technical guy, then you may need some deep expertise skills. Maybe you are a business side role you are playing, then you may have some kind of overuse skills on the cloud. But definitely every person should have the cloud skills. Okay, and right side, if you see, these are the just some of notable, beginner level, or I'm not saying beginner level, some of the notable current opportunities in the cloud computing. We These are the roles actually: cloud engineer, cloud support engineer, security administrator, network data engineer. We have so many, but I took only for example, I took only some of them. And if you see the uh, graph of the salary packages, right? So if you are the beginner, so you are seeing the number, right? You are going to get you can get started with the good age as 4 to 5, or if you are going to intermediate level or mid level with the 2 to 4 years experience, right? 2 to 4 years experience, right? So you are going to get some kind of 10, around 10 lakh like that. And if you are experienced more than 5 years or 6 years, you are going to get 15 lakh or 40 lakh, even based on the skills or based on the interview performance. You are going to get even more than that as well based on your expertise. Okay, and here what exactly the cloud engineers or the cloud support engineers or cloud security engineers will do in the organization, what are their role, right? So here maybe we all know system administrator. We all heard about system administrator jobs, right? Even before the cloud, companies are used to maintain their own data center, maintain their own servers, right? What system administrator done at that point of time? They need to manage all that infrastructure of that organization, right? In the same way, you can replace that with the cloud engineer or cloud administrator. So there you saw only system administrator role, but if you go with the cloud, you can see multiple roles here, right? Because cloud computing is huge actually. Okay, single person cannot handle everything. Okay, so if you go into the cloud is nothing but collection or group of all kind of the services. Whether, let's say, we have one organization and that organization is using a cloud for their web applications. So for that use case, the company may utilize some kind of servers, some kind of storage services, and some kind of serverless or database services. To maintain that, they are going to put, or to maintain that cloud infrastructure, right? They are going to hire one cloud engineer. So now cloud engineer, what he will do, he will first manage or maintain this all cloud infrastructure, and rest of the team may also require access to those services, right? Maybe developers require the access to the servers to maintain or to deploy their code into the server. So that access part is going to taken care by cloud administrator or cloud engineer. As a cloud engineer, you are going to give the access to the developers or to the persons who require the particular access in the cloud. And as a cloud engineer, you are going to maintain or you are going to track the billing or cost of the cloud. Okay, and you are going to put some guidelines how the cloud is going to utilize in the inside your organization, and you are going to develop the framework or the architecture, how the cloud architecture should look like based on your organization use cases. Okay, and the what is cloud data engineer? Cloud data engineer is nothing but, even as I said, in the cloud you will get any kind of service based on your requirement. Okay, so now we are seeing data engineering, or the data engineers are really in the boom, right? So from the cloud provider side, we still have to accomplish, I don't know, to achieve that kind of requirements. Also, we have some services in the cloud. Okay, so whoever working on those services, they will call as data engineer. Okay, networking is nothing but who is going to actually interlink all the resources, all the services inside the cloud, who is going to develop the network architecture. Because even inside the cloud also, every service should talk together, right? You have server and you have database and server should talk together, should connect together, right? So for that you need to implement network, so we need a network guy. So it is take care by cloud network engineer. Okay, fine. Well, I think we are done, we are clear with this slide. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah, so now we are going into discuss about the Amazon Web Services, which we all are waiting for, right? So cloud computing we discussed, and we see what are the cloud providers, and our session or our course is mainly designed on the AWS, right? So we are going to talk about the AWS as well. So if you see, I, I shown you some reports that AWS is on top always with their results or with their services, with their features. So that's why we took AWS as a promising career for the students or individual professionals. So Amazon Web Services, or AWS, is the world's most adopted cloud service provider. And if you see this sentence, Amazon services is roughly, or more than 200 are there, but if you take the exact count, right, they are providing almost 200 fully featured services from data centers globally. You should remember this word globally, data centers globally. We saw that benefit, right? Global footprint. So that will be relevant here. So even again, as we are going to have a sessions in the course on the Amazon Web Services, I'm just want to give some glimpse on the evaluation of the Amazon Web Services as well. So if you see, we can categorize phases into four phases of Amazon evaluation. Okay. So first phase is funding. So they started with the idea of this cloud computing or the sharing resources in the 2000s only, because they themselves faced some kind of issues to handle their Amazon.com e-commerce platform, to handle that bulk traffic. So they come up with a kind of they saw the opportunity, okay, in the cloud computing. So they started funding in the cloud computing in the 2000s only. So you can see the numbers actually where exactly what happened in the which year. Okay, so in 2004 only they first introduced the SQS service. They introduced their first service in the 2004, which is SQS. This service is for to maintain the bulk messages from their e-commerce platform. For their own purpose only, they built it first. But after that, they saw this as an opportunity. Why can't we even provide this service to the public? You can convert this as a market, right? So as a business, right? They saw this as an opportunity and they come into the public. And after 2005, the next phase has started, and they actually come up with, or they decided to provide the compute, database, and storage services to the public. So that is what in the phase of first generation services in the 2006 to 2010 or 2009, they launched their first generation services of EC2, S3. EC2 is nothing but elastic compute cloud. When I say compute, I told you that compute is nothing but it's a cloud terminology of the virtual server. That's it. So server, simply they are providing the servers. And S3 is the full form of S3 is simple storage service, and that is a storage service. So how now we are actually storing our files or photos or documents inside our mobile, right? There is some kind of storage now. So in the same way, in the cloud also we are going to get some storage service. Okay, so they launched their first services in this phase, and then from 2010 they started innovating the ways to actually go into the public, to increase their credibility, to increase their opportunities, to increase their customer base. They done some kind of innovative ways. They actually, if you see, the top of those activities are in 2012 Netflix. We all know Netflix, right? How big it is and how big platform it is. The Netflix is actually migrated to complete their 100% infrastructure to AWS in 2012, and they are successfully able to run it without any issues. Okay, and in 2013 AWS has decided to provide the certification programs to the individuals to validate their skills. In that way, even professionals or the individuals also getting benefited, are getting recognized by the industry. Okay, and after that in 2014 AWS started APN. APN is nothing but AWS partner network. So AWS is going to collaborate with some of the companies to provide their services to the clients. So not only AWS, if you don't have that skill set in your organization, you can take the help from the AWS network clients. Okay, so even in this phase also, they actually come up with some kind of services in the monitoring, in the deployment, in the application deployment, everything. So you can see, saw that names also here: CloudWatch and Luxury Stack, some of the services they launched actually. And the main service in the 2014, they launched this machine learning service and the serverless service. Okay, the machine learning service, it shows their dedication towards the AI practice as well. So they come up with the AI related services in the 2014 only. And next, from the 2016 to present, it is the dominance era of the, we can say AWS is dominating any other cloud provider with these kind of features with their services. Okay, so why we are saying AWS is dominating? With launching the new or the advanced services, and also by seeing the growth. If you see the 2019 AWS has reported almost 37% of the revenue growth, annual revenue growth. That is not the that is not the simple word, right? So that is how it is actually increasing their growth and increasing their revenue. So by that we can understand how organizations are adopting the AWS. Okay, and even in this phase also, they are continuously innovating the services, they are continuously launching the advanced services. Okay, and the main most point is they are now operating in almost 33 or 34 regions across the globe to serve the every corner of the world. Okay, so this is about the Amazon evolution, how they actually revolutionized the cloud nest and everything. Okay, so with this we are moving on to the next slide. Yeah, just now we are talking about AWS evolution and everything, right? So how exactly AWS is going to achieve these kind of results? How they are serving the customers, how they are providing their services to the customers, and what is means how they are able to achieve this? Because they have their footprint, they have their data centers across the globe. Wherever you go, every corner you go, they have multiple regions or multiple data centers. Okay, for the number, if you see, they have now they are operating in 34 regions across the globe. Okay, and I will tell you what is a region, what is available zone, everything. And inside that regions, they are operating or they are having 108 availability zones. Okay, so regions are nothing but, let's say, in our India, or they actually categorize regions as a what, like Asia Pacific and the uh, US East, like that they categorize the regions. So in our India, they're having one region, and in US they're having region, in London they're having one region. Okay, so in that way, they're actually spread across the world, and even in that regions, they are going to have multiple availability zones. Availability is nothing but one availability zone again going to have multiple data center. This is to achieve the global footprint future to the customers, and also the redundancy or the disaster recovery. Let's say now today we are going to deploy one application using the AWS cloud. So what I will do, I will deploy my application, my web application, in one availability zone in India and one availability zone in another data center. So with this, let's say in one availability zone or one data center is going to be crashed with some reason, but my website is going to run in another data center, right? So there is no downtime itself. And after that, the latency, let's say I have my client in the US, but I am working from the India. So if I deploy my application in the India, there may be some latency. Latency is nothing but the time period which is taking to get back the results from the response from the website. Okay, so that is called latency. So if I deploy the application in the India and my client in the US, there will be some kind of, definitely there will be some latency. So but using the cloud, sitting in the India, I can deploy my application in the US, because in the US also they are going to have their data center. They are giving me the opportunity to deploy my application there also. So my client also there, my server or my application is also going to be sit in the US only. Then it is closest location to my client, right? So their latency issue is resolved with that. So that is what global footprint or global infrastructure about AWS. And next, just I want to tell you one comment from the Gartner again. So by standardized, by analyzing this global infrastructure method by the AWS, Gartner said that, or it is saying a recommended approach for running enterprise applications that require high availability. So Gartner said AWS global infrastructure is a recommended approach to any kind of enterprise who want the high availability of their applications. Just now I said there is no downtime because of the multiple data, right? So that is what they said. And if you see the benefits of the cloud, so these are the notable benefits from the AWS cloud. We have security, we have availability, and we have performance, we have scalability, we have flexibility, we have global footprint. Again, maybe some of the benefits are repeated here from the cloud benefits, right? So same. So security will be there because even though it's a public cloud, inside we are going to create our own private network. Okay, that is using some of the services. When we join that course, that we can actually definitely discuss about the services and all, how we are going to create the security, what are the security services are there. And availability, as I said, every time whenever you take, your service is going to be available. This is not going to be disturbed by any kind of issues. Okay, definitely your site or your application is going to be run 24 by 7 if you go with the cloud. And performance, definitely I told you the latency, right? So you can choose the closest location to your client, then the performance will be better only always. And the scalability, as I already told you, in peak hours your servers automatically will scale up or will increase, or in normal days you can automatically decrease. So that is what the scalability. And flexibility, you can choose the location, or you can choose the size of the server or size of the service based on your requirement. That is what the flexibility is. And global footprint, because of this global infrastructure, because of these many regions or availability zones, I mean AWS is also able to provide this global footprint feature as well. Okay, now this is about the global infrastructure and what are the benefits from that global infrastructure of the AWS we are going to get, or the organizations are going to get. Okay, that's for this slide. Let's move to the next slide. Yeah. So till now we are saying AWS is providing lot many services, almost 200 fully featured services, right? So if we categorize them, okay, the top product categories I am putting in front of you. Those include compute, database, storage, networking, security, and machine learning. Not only limited to this, we have many more services in AWS, but if you took the top utilizing services nowadays by the organizations, these are those services. What exactly the compute? Compute is nothing but, as I told you, simply it's a server. But server is not in front of you, not with you. You are going to remotely connect to the server, you are going to utilize it. That is nothing but the compute service. And again, the database. Exactly, for every web application or the mobile application, backend will be the database only to store. Let's say you are going to install one application in your mobile, and it will ask you to register in that application, right? Or in that subscription, whatever it is, giving your mail ID and all. So where exactly the details are going to stay stored? Backside there will be database only. So even cloud service provider is going to provide you that service as a database. And what again the storage here? So database is nothing but to store the huge amount of data. Okay, again some kind of storage files. Let's say in our mobile we are storing our files, our photos, or videos, whatever it is, right? So in the same way, we have some kind of storage services. Just before this, even we saw the S3 service, right? For example, in the AWS. So that is what the storage service. So to storage or to store the temporary files are the regular usage files of the applications of the projects, we are going to utilize the storage service. And then networking, as I told you, even it's the public cloud, we are going to create our own network inside the cloud, right? For that we have some of the services, how to create our own private network or virtual network inside the cloud. That is what the cover under networking. And then we have security. So as it's a public cloud, definitely there is a concern of security, right? So for that, again, it is actually providing, yeah, so the cloud is actually providing some kind of security services as well. Okay, that is covered under security. And then again, we all know now the AI and the machine learning services, how it is. So even for to cover that part as well, AWS is providing some machine learning services. which we are going to deep dive in our future sessions. Okay. Yeah. So we can even talk about the AWS free tier in the latter sessions. AWS free tier is nothing but AWS is actually uh, want to affordable or no want to accessible to everyone who want to learn the cloud computing. Because for that they actually come with the concept called the free tier. With that, every student or every individual can actually practice and learn the cloud computing on the AWS. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Okay, now we are saying AWS is a market leader, but you may not trust her, right? So by showing the reports, we want to tell you AWS is a market leader. That's it about this slide. If you see the three reports, three each individual reports from different agencies or different vendors we took. One is from Canalys, one is for Synergy Group, one is for Gartner again. Okay, so if you see in every report, AWS is on top with the continuous growth, with the continuous ARC standards maintaining. AWS is the top always. And if you see the right side of the slide, there are some of the notable top companies who are actually using for their use cases, who are actually running their business in a smooth manner with the AWS. Okay, yeah, let's move to the next slide. Yeah, now the actual topic which we are looking for, AWS certification. So why AWS certification, what it will do, what are the levels of AWS certification we have, and what are the benefits of the certification. Okay, so first, if you see at the left side of the slide, what exactly this certification is going to do for the individuals. So it will going to test the capabilities of the individuals for the following tasks. What are those tasks? It is going to validate your cloud expertise. Okay, and it is going to enhance your career prospects and potential of the salary packages, or what is potential of the leads or potential of the opportunities. Okay, and next, these certifications, whatever you're going to get the AWS or cloud provider, recognized by the industry leaders worldwide. Definitely, when there is some kind of opportunity, some kind of openings, definitely you are going to be prioritized if you have the certification. Okay, so these are just some notable points. If you have the certification, what we are going to get and what exactly happen if you have the certification. And in below, if you see, when AWS or some other agencies have inquired with some of the, so these all reports, these are 4% I'm showing, right? These 4% are taken from the 500 employees or 500 IT managers from the industry. Okay, from the AWS report or the Gartner report, I took these results. Okay, if you see, 91% of the leaders are saying that they increased the innovation inside their organization or inside their projects after they recruited the certified staff, AWS certified staff. Okay, and 90% of the productivity is improved. What they are saying is, and 89% the troubleshooting time or troubleshooting period is increased. Okay, the fast in the faster 89% faster they are able to troubleshoot the issues whenever they are facing. And in last, we are seeing 28 to 30% of forecasted growth in the jobs in next coming 5 years based on the certifications. That's about the certification point and the percentage of the benefits. And if you see the right side, this is very important. What are the levels of certifications we have in the AWS? Okay, so we have 4 levels of certifications. One is foundational, and next to that we have associate, and next to that we have professional, and next to that we have specialty. Okay, if you see, foundational certification is the starting point to the cloud certification or in the AWS. Okay, and with some experience, we are going to have associate, and next we have professional. And next we have specialties, nothing but we are going to choose one of some kind of service, a particular uh, industry related service, and we are going to do a specialty certification on that. So these are the levels, and even we are going to share you the image, or share you the details exactly in which level what are the certifications you are going to have. But for now, in the foundational, we are going to have only one certification, that is a cloud practitioner certification, cloud practitioner foundational certification. Okay, after that we have multiple certifications in the associate or in the different levels that we are going to share with you in the group actually. Okay, yeah, that's about the AWS certification. If you have any doubts, please keep it with you and please post in the chat. We are definitely going to answer all your questions. Yeah, moving on to the next slide. Yes. So we talk about all the AWS certificate, whatever we have, what are the level set, but our session is more about the AWS certified cloud practitioner, right? So let's have some discussion on it. So AWS certified cloud practitioner is the first step into the cloud journey. Okay. And it is the foundational certification which is going to open the doors for your cloud journey. It is going to validate the overall essential AWS knowledge. Okay, and in the slide you can see this certification. For every certification we have the some code in the AWS terminology. Okay, for AWS cloud practitioner we have CLF C02 as a code. Okay, this exam is intended for individuals who can effectively demonstrate overall knowledge of the AWS cloud. By seeing the term overall knowledge, you can say that in the cloud practitioner exam, as it's a foundational certification, right? So AWS is going to validate all kind of the services. Okay, whether it's related to computer, to storage or security or billing or administrator. So all kind of services, you should have some idea on it to attend this exam. Okay, so again, the middle portion of the slide is talking about what are all the capabilities or what are all the skills AWS is going to validate with this certification. It is going to validate what your skills or your expertise in the value of the AWS cloud, and you should know about the shared responsibility model of the AWS, and you should know the security best practices when you are using the AWS, and you should know billing or pricing concept when you're using AWS, how to manage the bill and how to manage the price and everything. And then you should know some of the core services and how to work with them, what is the definition of them, what is the use case of them in the AWS. You should know these all. And not only limited, these are the notable, these are the main important one. We have so many. And who should take this certification? Who can take this certification? Actually, everyone can take, there is no limitation. But to say accurately, very beginner into the cloud company, everyone who wants to start their career in the cloud computing, they can take the certification. And line of business employees also, whether let's say some people may think they are working in the marketing side, they're working in the financial side, they will not require this technical skills, but nowadays organizations are including them into the technical discussions, right? If you need any kind of application for your finance team, you should discuss with the technical team, you should have a conversation with the AWS or cloud team, right? So to have a enhanced communication, you should have the skills, some basic level of skills. So with this certification you can get that. And the anyone who is aspiring to start their journey in the cloud, okay, these are eligible to take or welcome to take the certification. So that's it about this slide. Let's move to the next slide, please. Yeah, so we talked about the base or the important topic of the cloud practitioner. Right now, what let's have some overview and outline of the content also related to this is certification. If you see the left side of the slide, overview of the certification I put here, or the overview of the exam I put here. So this cloud practitioner certification is commander foundational category, and duration is going to be 90 minutes, and you are going to have 65 questions in this exam. And even in depth, if you ask me, 50 questions are only for the scoring and 15 are to from research purpose from the AWS side, but we are not going to identify, we are unable to identify them in the exam. For us, it is completely 65 questions, and the format is whether you may have multiple choice questions or multiple for some questions they may ask you to give multiple responses also, not only one answer. For some questions you may have to give two or three responses also, but some questions you need to just select the option, that's it. And the cost of the certification is $100 for this AWS cloud practitioner. And the mode of the test, you can take it offline or online. Okay, so online or offline you can select while registering for the exam. And the score, actually this exam is going to for the 1,000 marks, and you need to get minimum 70% to pass the certification or to get the certified. Okay, that is about the overview of the exam and the certification. And if we deep dive into the content outline, what are the domains? So inside the cloud we have so many services, right? So if you categorize them, we have domains. Okay, so what are the domains is going to cover under this inside this certification, and what are the percentage they are going to cover? Okay, so if you see four categories or four domains they are going to ask you questions on these domains in the examination. If you take cloud concepts, we have 24% of weightage, and if you take security and compliance, we have 30%. And if you take cloud technology and services, they are going to ask you almost 34%, cover 34% from this domain. And again, they are even going to test you on the billing or support domain as well, and there you are going to get some 12% of questions. So if you observe here, almost every corner of the service they are touching, because this is a foundational certificate, and which means you are going to have complete or overall idea, at least the definition level idea to some services, and some kind of practical idea on some services. You should have, or you should touch every service in the AWS for this certification actually. So this is what about the overview and some glimpse or some outline of the content which is going to cover inside this exam. And even we can deep dive into what are the exact services or exact topics are going in skills going are taking inside these domains. We can talk deep dive into in the next slides and in the future sessions, because we are running out of time, so now we are sticking with it. So yeah, so we are done with this slide. Let's move to the next slide. Now, so we talk about cloud computing, AWS cloud, and the certification. How we actually exactly interact with the AWS, right? As an individual or as an organization, as an employee, how we exactly interact with the AWS services, how we exactly use the AWS services, that is important, right? So for that purpose, we have so many options. We have graphical interface, we have command line interface, and we have CDK. CDK is nothing but the application or code level interface we have. The main or mostly used one is the graphical user interface, which is the AWS management console. Okay, which is actually a central hub for managing all the AWS services, and it is web hosted. You can use this AWS management console from your web, from your Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge, whatever it is. You can use it, and it's very user friendly. Just if you know the English, you can navigate there. Okay, so if you see the left side diagram, it's simply user will connect to the or log into the AWS management console. From that console, he will connect to the AWS, and he will deploy or launch or create whatever the services he want. We can learn. Okay, and what are the features of this AWS management console? If you are logging or if you are using the management console, it is actually a service dashboard. What do you mean by service dashboard? Any of the service you take, you have the access through the AWS management console. Whether you want to work on the data analytics services, whether you want to use machine learning services, whether you want to use the database services, whether you want to use the web application services, whether you want to use the developer services, all services you can access through the management console. That is what service dashboard. And the resource management, as I told you, as a cloud engineer, as a cloud administrator, you are going to manage what are the resources, what are the services utilizing for your project teams, right? By your project teams, right? So that management you can do from the management console. And even the billing and cost management also. So from the management console, you can go to the billing section. You can see how much billing is affecting on you from your project teams on your organization. You can manage that. You can put some limits over there. You can put some tails. You can put some gates to your billing and everything. And even the access management. When I told you, even as a cloud administrator, you are going to give access. You are going to allow the other users or other project teams to access the AWS resources or cloud resources based on requirement, right? So that access management also you are going to do from the management console. Okay, that is about the AWS management console. Okay, here even we want to actually showcase you in a practical or exactly how AWS management looks like. I will check from my side if I'm able to log into my console. So I will confirm back. If I'm able to log in, definitely I will showcase you the AWS management console. But meanwhile, can we move to the next slide, Ashok? Yeah, move to the previous slide only. This is somewhat clear topic.
Okay, Naresh, thank you for this.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Ashok. So meanwhile, I will just try to log in with my
Yes,
console.
yes,
If I'm
yes,
able to, I will
yes,
check
yes,
that.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So thank you, Naresh. Students and working professionals and all, thank you for your attention here to learn and all these things. Let Naresh will connect the practical. He is going to show the practical way. Let him log in and all these things. And then, meanwhile, I try to explain a few of things. Am I audible to all?
Yes,
Am I
sir.
audible to all? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Uh, I'm requesting everyone that please kindly stay connected for a few more minutes so that he can show you the live practical session on the AWS and as well as what are the other Q&A things also we can cover. Like you can see here what is actually ANSRise. As he told that the what is the importance of the certification, it is how the managers are thinking about it, the certification, how more packages get there, it is increasing more job chances and it is increasing more package chances. So what ANSRise will do, the answer is these are various services will provide to you. Like I will tell you few of the services of the answer is like it can conduct some skill building workshops and hands-on workshop. It is a live real-time workshops by the industry experts. Most time the answer is will concentrate on industry expert. You ask me why, sir, you are taking from industry. See, everyone. So I am an academician. I have a good experience, but those who are working in the current industry, they have the practical experience on the next upgradation of the particular projects or whatever you can say it. So if the industry expert design any course, if the industry expert taught any course, so definitely he will bring the live use cases. Now you see, as he is an industry expert, you can see all his lecture. He has taken a live industry use cases. These use cases will be known by only working professionals. As we academician, we know the research and development, all these things. That's good, but use cases will be known by the only industry. That's the reason the ANSRise is a collaboration of academicians and as well as the industry experts. So it will bring you the live knowledge and greater knowledge in the R&D as well as the industry use cases, so that you can learn the things very easily. That's why I think this is the first type of institution I feel that in the market. Okay, of course, there are many are there, but whatever the cost we are offering for these services, I think we are very first. So we are also because many students has approached me that yes, sir, it should be available to the students because students are paying lot of amount to all other activities, right? So a lot of payment they are paying for the college fees, tuition, lot of things they are doing. And why we want to charge more? No, it should not be like that. But we want to give a quality education with affordable price. That is what actually our intention. And you can see um, expert in LED webinars now as we conduct interactive skill building for workshop. We can see like hands-on experience we are going to do, and training solutions like as you know that certification training solution now we are going on AWS certification solution, and one of the new course has been designed soon that like technical interview. So most of the people currently facing a lot of problem that they are not clearing the technical interview of the Wipro, TCS, and all. So we are combining all types of questions for the different website and different scenario, and we are making one syllabus and we are making ready it so that we are pumping into the means of the course. Soon that course will be launched to you so that you can listen. We are providing recordings also, no worries about it, because if you miss something, we'll provide you recordings. And if you have any doubts, definitely you can post in the proper channels so that we can respond. So these are the solutions that we are going to offer. Uh, AI solution. Now we are also working on how AI models and cloud platforms will be implemented in the in implementing in the cloud platform that we are actually working on. Some of the research projects also currently we are working on cybersecurity and all. So now come to the career building boost certification program. These are the career building boost certification program like AWS. Now listen me or not, believe me or not, the future of the technology is cloud. 100% what he said is correct. It's a cloud only. So every person who is working industry now, some people are there in this session. They are currently working in Java, currently working in Python, currently working as a data scientist. Now they came for the workshop, for the session. Why? They came for the certification. Why they are coming? Because they're earning lakhs of rupees in their current project. Why they are coming to AWS? Because of their projects are going to migrate to the cloud from the existing system. You imagine students, or you imagine the how working professionals are learning AWS. Then why can't you learn it? Okay, so if you're not having such a skill, the cloud skill, definitely your chances of the getting jobs will reduce. There is no doubt at all. So now a strategic campus collaboration. We are trying to collaborate with different campuses in Hyderabad. Of course, the some of the negotiations are going on in local colleges also. We are collaborating. You can give our contact number to your colleges, your team leads also. We come to there, we will give you live training to you all, so that it will be very benefit to you. So of course all should be get benefited with this some strategic program collaboration. We are trying to schools. We are also trying with tying up with schools, colleges, universities. Not only that, some companies, some startups are recently some startups called me, sir, will you able to provide skilling programs for our employees, because the cloud is necessary for them, right? So in order to upgrade. So because like maybe new project is coming into that startup that is related to cloud, their employee don't have such a knowledge. So we people are go there and will conduct the workshops. So we will give some real-time knowledge with the help of the industry experts. Believe me, here all content will be by the industry experts. So all collaborations we are going to do, so that now I think Naresh is ready for you for giving you the practical approach for how the cloud look like, the uh, environment look like. Okay, I hope Naresh, are you ready?
Yes,
And
yes,
see the
yes.
practical.
Yeah. So thanks for that, Ashok. So see, if you see this slide, right? So as an ANSRise, we came with this kind of very comprehensive and very innovative kind of services, and also, yeah, I'm not going to take much time on this. So if anyone is having any kind of requirement, you can let us know. You can ping us anytime. You can actually utilize our services. Okay. So with this, let me share my screen. I will just showcase you as we are running out of time, right? So just I will showcase you how the AWS management console will look like exactly, how we can actually work with that or utilize that console to interact with the resources. Okay. Let me share my screen. Give me a minute.
Naresh, you can share.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm sharing. I hope you are able to see my screen now. Right. Okay. So whenever you logged in for the first time, so actually there is a process to register to the AWS and all that I will explain, or even we can give some demonstration session in the group also. That is fine. So once you are done with your registration, right, for the free tier account, for the AWS account, whenever you logged in for the first time.
Naresh,
So
Naresh, sorry for the interruption.
okay.
Students, those who are in the line, please make a note of it, because this is very important session. Because he is going to explain the live practical where you won't get anywhere. That's why please make a note of it. Please utilize and stay connected for the completion of this. Don't worry about the time is going on, because the skill is needed. The practical skill is needed. So please go
Right.
ahead, Naresh. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for that. So as I told you, you need to complete your registration with the AWS, right? So there it will going to ask you some basic details of your mail ID, your address, and even it is going to ask you for the some credit card or debit card details because of the security purpose. That is nothing else. It is not going to charge you anything. It is just the AWS is going to just deduct 2 rupees, I think, yeah, as I remember. Now even I need to check. So the very little amount it will deduct, and it will again revert back or return back into your account that amount also. That is for just for the confirmation or the authority purpose. They will do that. So once you are done with the registration process, whenever you log into your console, right, this is how the AWS management console will look like. Okay. So it is even providing some tour for us to understand. So what it is saying, if you go to the services menu, you can access all AWS services here. There are sections for recently visitors, and you can save your favorite service also. You understand, right? Maybe you are working on only database related stuff, so you don't want to see all the services every time. So you can even select them as save them as a favorite services to you. So this is about the services section. If you click on next, we have the search bar also. So if you are unable to find exact what is the service you want, but you know the service name in the AWS. Let's say you are working on the machine learning related services. We have the service called SageMaker in the machine learning. Okay, so you can directly search SageMaker here like this. SageMaker here like this. You can search and you can go to this service directly. Okay, this is how it will. Okay. So that tourism, that's fine. So I will showcase. I will explain you what are the all the options we have. So again, whenever you first log into your console, right, you should check your profile here. Even here it will give your account ID. This will require when you are logging with another user. When I say another user, in the login process, right, we have two kind of options. You can log in with your root user, which email ID you use it to register for the AWS, that is your root user. And after that you can create multiple users inside the AWS account. While logging using those users, you will require this account ID. Okay, and you can get all the details about your account. If you go to this profile section, you can see what are the account details, what are the service quotas you have, and you can, as I told you, right, you can even manage the billing also, cost also. If you go to this billing, right, you can see what are the services you are using and what is the cost exactly right now on your account. Okay, but for now I think there is no cost in this account as we are not running any services. Okay, but you run. Okay, if you see data available, because we are not using this account, we don't have any kind of information to provide the summary to the AWS, right? So that's why it's saying data is not available. Okay, but if you have something utilization inside your AWS account, definitely that is going to showcase here. And as I told you, there is a free tier account option, right? So we'll talk more about the free tier account in the in our session. Okay, so but for now there is no billing for this account. So that is about the profile section. And even you can change your passwords using this credentials tab and everything. Okay, you can change your password, you can update your password, you can put some policies also for how many days you want to continue the same password. That's all. And I yes, and I actually told about the regions and all, right. So here if you have, sorry, if you're able to see this section, this is the regions section, regions and availability zones. These many regions are there in the AWS. Okay, these are the regions actually in the is what we are talking. So whenever we are logging or we are really working in the project, right, so once after we log in, we should select the region exactly where we want to deploy or take the services. Okay, so if you want to deploy your services in Mumbai, then you should select Mumbai. If you want to deploy your application in the US, then you should select the US regions, which is closest to you, or based on your use cases it will be different. Okay, so that is how it will be. And the most important one is services section. If you click on services, you can see what all the categorizations are there. You can see analytics, applications, blockchain. So every kind of services, every kind of applications. So in the industry, whatever the service or whatever the technology is going to come, right, AWS is going to release the service related to that. That's it. So in recent times, we can say AI, we all are listening, and we all are listening, AI is going to take everything, right? So if you see, even related to AI also, if you see the machine learning, we have the services related to machine learning here. If you click on machine learning, see, these many services are there inside the machine learning category. See, see. Even we all are using ChatGPT. Maybe some of the people are, most of the people are know ChatGPT, right? Even in relevant to that, in replacement to that, AWS has some service called Amazon Q. So like that, so whatever the service you are seeing outside, definitely there will be alternative tool or alternative service for that inside the AWS. That is what just I want to communicate here. So if you click on all services, you can see like this. So what are all the services we have? We can even single line definition is there to make you understand. Okay, that's why I'm saying it's very AWS management console is very user friendly, very understandable, very easy to use. If you don't know the service also, it is giving the single line definition to make you understand or to make you flexible with that service, right? So as I told you, favorite is right. If you save any service as your favorite is, if you are going to interact with them regularly, then you can save those as your favorite service. As of now, we don't have anything in this account. So that's all. So in this recently visited, let's say now you logged into the console. Let's say uh, I'm going to open EC2 service, right? And I'm going to work with the EC2. EC2 service is nothing but, I told you, right, it's nothing but a server, but it's in remote. This is not our physical server. You can see the dashboard, how it is showing, right? How many servers, EC2 or compute or virtual server, you can call it as a server. For now, you can understand it as a server, okay? But it's in the remote. So how many servers are running? Okay, how many artist group are there? How many servers are there exactly? So maybe running or maybe stopped. How many servers are there? So these are all resources, are the services, right? More we will talk more about the services in our future sessions. But for now, just I want to showcase you how you can utilize the AWS Management Console, how it is, what are the sections it is having, what are the tabs it is having, what are the options you are able to get here. Okay, so if you go to any particular service, so this console is separate or dedicated UI, having dedicated UI from for every service. As I choose the EC2 console, right? So separate UI, graphical UI for this EC2 console. Why I am saying separate console? I will show you the difference. If I go to S3 now, because the options or the features are different from service to service, right? So that's why if I choose EC2, I am seeing these are all the options in the console, or this is the way how GUI is look like. If you go to the S3 console, this is how it looks like. How isolated it is. The every console service to service is isolated inside again. Okay, you can see these are the services, or these are the features or options inside the S3 console. So this is how you can navigate in the AWS Management Console. And what are the services? See, now just we open the service. If you done some work here, then whenever you logged in the recently visited services section, it will showcase those services here. It means you're regularly using those services. Okay, so that's it for about the AWS Management Console, what I can cover in this short time actually. So definitely we are going to have a deep dive into all the services, whatever required for our cloud practitioner exam and course. So we are going to definitely deep dive into, and you definitely, I make sure you people will follow along with us while we are delivering the course. You people will practice